To you somewhat live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere east of the Mississippi and west of the Atlantic. My name is Brian Engelman.
And I'm Blake Walley.
And today is Tuesday, July the 25th, 2023. Thank you so much for joining us. Blake, do you want to run down the topics we're going to cover today? Do you have them in front of you, or do you want me to go through them?
I can go through them. Well, it depends. I don't know what order you're going to go in, but let's take a look.
Bottom to top. Bottom to top.
Bottom to top. Well, should we impeach Joe Biden because we can't count on the Department of Justice? And Obama's chef, was he probably murdered to prevent any secret leaks? How about son of LeBron James suffered a heart attack because of the jab? How about we should embrace Elon's rebrand of Twitter into the X Everything app? How about everyone should hand over their biometric data for world ID money? What else? We have 83% of Democrats deny border crisis. Is that because they're well informed? And finally, Rand Paul's office fire was probably retaliation for prosecuting Fauci. These stories and more. I think Brian's got one with his buddy Ronnie D. But we've got limited time today, only about 40 minutes or so.
Our buddy Ronnie D. Yes, we'll talk about Ronnie D. Today's episode is collapsed suddenly. Both athletes and DeSantis poll numbers. That was pretty clever, right? Pretty clever.
Yes, good job.
But yeah, we will get to that. I'm also the host of a show called the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. So I followed the career of LeBron James from high school to today, the NBA all-time scoring leader, and very jarring to hear this story. And there's a lot to unpack there. So let's just jump into it, Blake, because things are busy today. Let's talk about Joe Biden. And is it just time to impeach him because we can't count on the DOJ? Like, what's the latest here, sir?
Well, let me pull up. We got a few of these stories circulating. And I know Kevin McCarthy did mention something on a tweet recently. I don't have that in front of me. But out of the Federalist, only an impeachment. Because, Brian, we got to that point last show talking about what do we do if the Department of Justice and the FBI are not going to do anything? Do we go to the Supreme Court? But I guess what we should have been looking for is an impeachment, because that can be a totally different inquiry separate from the Department of Justice if these places have been compromised. So what could it unravel the Biden family corruption and the Fed's role? The evidence is too damning for our president and the Department of Justice and FBI. It's time to start an impeachment inquiry. So last week, our country passed the tipping point. The evidence of President Biden's corruption during his time as VP is now so overwhelming and the implications so serious that disparate investigations underway in the House and Senate can no longer suffice. Nor can the Department of Justice and the FBI, even under the auspices of a special counsel, be trusted to oversee the investigation, given the overwhelming evidence that they obstructed the probe into the Biden family. So, yeah, Brian, we've been seeing all this stuff. Of course, the liberal media has gone out of its way to act like there's nothing happening. They've got to be freaking out. And then we got actually a few great articles out of the Federalist. You've got Joe Biden spoke to Hunter's business partners at least 24 times. Former associate will testify. Devin Archer is expected to tell lawmakers how Joe Biden was often dialed in on speakerphone as his son Hunter conducted the business deals. So I don't know how much longer they can keep running with this. So the testimony could shed further light on revelations in the document housed by the FBI that was made public by GOP Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley last week. The document implicates President Biden in a $10 million bribery scheme with Zlochevsky, the Burisma executive. Now, according to that document, they told an FBI confidential human source that Hunter Biden's hiring that was meant to protect us through his dad from all kinds of problems. So they put Biden's son on the Burisma board to prevent him from getting in trouble. They paid him a ton of money, and there was big bribes happening. This was while Biden was the VP. And he
old Burisma board Biden is what we used to call him. Old Burisma board Biden.
Right, and we do know that he was bragged about bribing Ukraine to fire the country's top prosecutor because he was investigating Burisma.
And of course, President Trump calls this out and says, "Hey, we got a problem here with corruption." And the Democrats' answer is, "We must impeach you, Donald Trump, because you're calling out our corruption." I'm sorry, that's really the timeline of how this is played out. How anybody could ever vote for a Democrat ever again, I'll never understand.
Unless it's RFK. Unless it's to get rid of the...
RFK is a wacky Democrats. Liberal. He says he's on point with a couple of topics, which is very refreshing, having dealt with these mental patients at the top of the ticket for so many years. Fine. But, I mean, RFK is still a lefty. He's still an anti-gunner. He's still hardcore environmental extremist. He's better than Biden and almost anything.
Come on. Just, he's a little bit better, but he's still a Democrat. Come on.
I mean, he is still a Democrat, and he still holds some pretty bad positions. He's head and shoulders above Biden, of course.
Right, but he's still in the same category as JFK. He was a great president. I don't have a problem with great liberal presidents. But, not this modern day Democratic Party is so radical and crazy and unhinged. So I think it's refreshing to have RFK Jr., and I think he's doing some great stuff. He's reminiscent very much of Trump, I think, in 2016, and the way the establishment is freaking out. And he's calling out all of this stuff, and he is making their heads explode. So I think this is outstanding. This is the best thing that has happened politically in some time, at least this cycle. Absolutely. It's time the Democrats got a real challenger and got back to, real old school liberalism. I like it.
Well, I'm not sure if you happened to catch Roger Stone discussing the topic, but he said there's no way Biden is not going to be the nominee. It's going to be Michelle Obama. It's already rigged. The primaries are already rigged, and they're going to put Michelle Obama in. They might temporarily have Kamala take power while Biden, either they send him to sleep and try to give him a hero's exit, or they impeach him, or he resigns, or he gets 25th. Either way, Roger Stone is saying there's no way that Biden goes for a second term. Kamala might get it temporarily. Maybe they put a Hillary in, but you can't, like he said, you can't replace a woman of color in the Democrat ticket in 2023 without replacing her with a woman of color on the Democrat ticket. So be prepared for Michelle Obama to take the reins. And then maybe, what did he say, that that Gavin Newsom could buy his way into vice president if all goes well. So it seems like Bernie Sanders 2016, how he got screwed by the DNC. It seems like Ron Paul 2012, where they were talking about changing the electors and changing the process, and that was the last real strong run Ron Paul had, right? That was 2012. Or was it 2008? Yes. 2012.
No, 2008 is when, he primaried McCain. But 2012 is when he got screwed over by the Romney people.
Gotcha. Okay. In
Florida.
So, I mean, we'll see how it shakes out. But back to Biden. I mean, so we know the Department of Justice they're essentially an overtaken organization. They no longer have any judicial moral high ground, any legal standing, so to speak. They're just a Gestapo arm of the radical Democrat Marxist Party. They're going after political opponents. You've seen this in country after country over the past 150 years. The Gestapo is kind of seized a portion of the United States government, and we're hanging our flag upside down as a nation, as a symbol of a nation in distress, Blake. That is exactly where we are. So what do we do now? You said, so we can't count on the Department of Justice. So you expect Congress to impeach, or it's possible they're going to go for it? Because some people are saying that the dumbest thing the Republicans could do would be to get rid of Biden too quick. He's a complete train wreck. The relief pitcher in the bullpen, Kamala Harris, is beyond a train wreck. It's like, let them exist as long as possible. Like, you don't want any a fresh pitcher coming in. This guy's rattled. Like, let's take him out of the game. It should be a cakewalk to the presidency and sweeping in Congress. But, you see these polls. It's like, oh, it's a dead heat between Biden and Trump. I'm like, in what universe is that? In what universe is it a dead heat? And then you see something going, well, it looks like the Democrats are going to gain seats. Gain seats? Gain seats? Gain seats? In what universe have the Democrats earned the right to gain anything except for a one-way ticket to Sing Sing? Sing Sing. What a nice dated reference there. To Guantanamo Bay. I don't know, Blake. What do you mean?
Oh, aren't they already there? According to some of the real out there world theorists, it's already a done deal.
Oh, they're already arrested, and
people were already been executed at Guantanamo. We're just waiting for the general public to catch up. We don't want to, spook everybody, wake them up.
Yeah, I can't get
already done. Just relax, trust the plan.
Yeah, trust the plan. If I could go the rest of my life without ever hearing something so stupid, it's like maybe my Judeo-Christian upbringing gives me a little bit of a guiding moral compass here. But, there's that general sentiment, and at least what rings true to me: God helps those who help themselves. So, sitting around and trusting that someone else has a plan, there's nothing more anti-God than that. You participate, the only thing it takes for evil to succeed in this world is for the good men to stand by and do nothing. So, okay, we get involved. We make sure that we steer things the way that they have to be steered to keep the car on the road. The bus drivers passed out, collapsed suddenly while driving the bus. All right, well, you better run up there and grab the wheel real fast. And so, okay, the adults are doing that. But where do we go from here? Are we just going to, I don't know. Is the federal government, the alphabet agencies, are they going to reach out and grab a hand, throw their hand up there, take the steering wheel and try to pull us into the guardrail, knock us off a cliff? I mean, it seems like that's all they've been doing since Obama got involved in politics. It's been a completely weaponized Department of Justice, a completely weaponized FBI, CIA, NSA, Homeland Security, everything you could imagine, from school board meetings to men dressing as prostitutes trying to wink at your kids. It's gone a little bizarre, and it has been ever since this Obama character came into the scene.
Yeah, no, that's mostly fair. Yeah, it was not necessarily started by Obama, but he definitely radicalized the Democratic Party. We don't recognize them anymore. They've lost touch with their base, which is why I think it's great to see RFK Jr. bring us kind of back to the moderate side of things, and it's causing them to freak out. So that's great. So no, I think they have to do the impeachment. Forget it. We can't trust the DOJ or FBI. Like we've said, trying to find how are they going to help? Well, if they're not going to investigate, then it's time for the impeachment hearings. I don't care how that affects Biden, or if he steps down, or if Kamala is temporary. It could be actually, since if she's going to be ineligible because I don't know if she was natively born here or her parents, but that could pave the way for McCarthy to take over even. So it would benefit him to impeach.
So wait a minute. Well, hold on. What Kamala's? She's half Indian and half Jamaican. Is that what is it?
Yeah, so she might not be eligible to even be the president.
But if she's not eligible to be the president, then she never met the criteria to be vice president. Because your only job as vice president is to sit there and wait in order to take over the reins. It's like you're the vice. It's like you're the co-pilot on that bus I was talking about. Now let's change our metaphors to airplanes, okay? You're the co-pilot. Your only job description is, in the event of emergency, you can take the controls and guide this thing safely. You're saying she might not be eligible to guide the controls, in which case she was never a pilot, in which case, why did she get nominated in the first place? That can't be true, right? any more true than Barack Obama typing in his own words as the editor of the Harvard Law Review saying he himself was born in Kenya. I mean, that's just as unbelievable as Kamala not being eligible to serve as president. I mean, maybe I'm conflating a couple issues here, but is there really a question that Kamala doesn't have the?
Yeah, that's a true story. I don't know if she's actually eligible, so that would be problematic. Therefore, she'd automatically be disqualified, and in that case, McCarthy would take over. Maybe.
Do we trust
or there
McCarthy?
could be some greater constitutional crisis. I won't get into all of it, but that ends up with Grassley being the executor for temporarily. But I don't know if that's it's plausible. Anyway, that's out of left field, but we'll see.
Kamala Harris' parents, they were immigrants. They found a home. Donald Harris and Shyamala Gopalan grew up under British colonial rule on different sides of the planet, and they were each drawn to Berkeley. So these are immigrant parents.
It's distracting. You're like Max Headroom. You're like just all over the place with these weird, wonky synchronicity delays.
Well, the audio is working, right?
Oh, the audio sounds fine, but then you're out of whack. It's unusual, but should be an interesting video. All right, but good.
So this USA
Brian,
Today, there's few places I trust less than USA Today, but it says Kamala Harris is a citizen and eligible to serve. Her father's Jamaican. I don't know. I'm just trying to make sense.
Let's not get too far into the weeds, but let's just say that it's time to impeach Biden. I don't care whether she's eligible or not. It's got to be done. Right, corruption. This threatens our entire way of life. This is republic, the democracy, what have you. The executive branch is completely compromised. They've been selling us out. Compromised. They're still selling us out. So
traitors.
It's bad. Yeah, it's bad, and not even the media is covering it. We've got a series of whistleblowers that have already come out. It's there. Grassley's got the documents. We've had Tony Bobolinsky, all of these business associates, the IRS whistleblowers. We know that there's what's going on with Burisma and Devin Archer, and we'll see. We've seen the video with Joe Biden bragging about firing. It's all cut and dry. It's easy to see, and it just continues to go on. There's another one with a Zelensky associate present at the Biden bribery meetings. So that could be being blackmailed by Zelensky in Ukraine for all the weapons and billions of dollars because they know this is going on. So taking a look at the timelines, in 2018, the Biden said there were no foreign deals. Then they said, there might have been, but they made no money. And then it was, Biden didn't know about any of the deals. And then it was, he didn't participate in any of the deals. But now that he was not in business with his son, they keep changing it. But now the documents don't lie. The whistleblowers aren't lying. It's come out. We even got Hunter Biden selling his art to a Democratic donor friend so he could get a prestigious commission and got he got like a cabinet position or some sort of a position. So they're bribing things away, selling. Everything's got a cost. Who knows how it's affecting policy? But yes, they're using the Bidens as this puppet administration to push this crazy radicalist globalist agenda, and it's all up for sale, and it's got to stop. That's all I've got on that for now.
It does need to stop. I want to thank Dreamer Ultra. I noticed that he is following us at American_media_ on Twitter. Also, the Unhappy Hour _ on Twitter, both the sports show and our regular show. Blake, tell people where to follow you, by the way.
TV's Blake Walley on Twitter. And of course, the archive is at The Next Level News. And yeah, things are wacky. We barely got this show because I nearly got a second strike on this channel again because of medical misinformation. Fortunately, I was able to appeal it. I also got The Next Level News YouTube got struck down. I haven't appealed it there yet, but I will. That's only my first strike, so not streaming for a week isn't the worst of it. But anyway, yeah, we could have these channels. It's not safe. So yeah, definitely please follow us on all of the platforms. Because if
every platform, Spotify,
yep.
Find us on Spotify, The Agree to Disagree Show, Rumble, The New American Media, YouTube.com/The New American Media. On Facebook, it's a private group, parentheses, TNAM, apostrophe S, TNAMs, The Agree to Disagree Show, parentheses. You have to type it exactly, or else YouTube will not let you know that we exist. It's a private group. Try to join. They'll say, how'd you find out about the show? Say, hey, we watched it. But yeah, you got to follow us in all of the places, Instagram, Telegram, anything that ends with am. So Amtrak, yeah, that's another comment.
Amway.
Dreamer Ultra talking about.
Get your
Amtrak.
Get your swag.
Yeah, Dreamer Ultra mentioning being on the board at Amtrak. Fueling up those trains or something, and about Michelle Obama dunking on those fools in the basketball press game. Let's scroll over to that. By the way, I just wanted to put up here, visit CISA.gov/rumor control, and as Ford Fisher recommended, we change it to CDC.gov/vaccines, so that you can get all the countervailing views on all of the things that you're not supposed to talk about, because we're going to talk about them on today's show, because we're not playing that game. It's insanity. So anyhow, let's talk about this next story, Blake. Over to Obama, since I did mention that Roger Stone is suspecting, or he already knows, that Michelle Obama will be the nominee in 2024, and it's already rigged in the primaries. We'll see how that plays out. But what is going on with Obama's chef? Agree or disagree that he was probably murdered to prevent any secret leaks? By the way, my understanding is that the dinner that night was going to be a soup with potatoes and secret leaks.
Oh, wow. Well, now it's definitive.
Double secret leaks.
I'm not sure. I'm just going to agree, because it's definitely more fun to go down the conspiracy rabbit hole. Now, I will admit I was totally wrong about the Nancy Pelosi or Paul Pelosi getting attacked with a hammer. We all wanted to believe it was some sort of, gay fling drug deal gone bad, but it turned out that it wasn't. I felt terrible. I didn't want, even though Paul Pelosi's a insider trader, and he's married to one of the most corrupt Washington swamp creatures. He seemed like a nice enough guy, and I didn't want to see him get attacked with a hammer by this crazy vagrant. But
we are certain that story and those suspicions, those have all been completely disproven at this point. They figured that out.
They released the video. Well, before they released the video, we had no idea. We can just speculate. Maybe they were trying to hide something. But once we actually saw the police body cam footage of them opening the door and seeing Pelosi with that guy, and then the guy hitting him with the hammer, it was like, well. But
wasn't I believe the
didn't
hit
you see
was
that
off
video?
camera.
Did you not see the video?
Screen.
Right. Well, they said it was weird.
Off screen. They went on the side of the door, like the door closed, and then they ended up in the side room. I don't think you even saw the hit. That was my recollection of watching it months ago when it came out. But anyway, we're getting into the weeds here. But I thought the actual air quote
described it as
happened off camera.
Well, then when they described it, yeah. But when you saw it, you saw him like clearly. Yeah, they're both like fighting over the hammer, and then he went whack, and then the cops swooped in. So that was real, but it was like, okay, they were telling the truth. That was not the conspiracy we thought it was.
Well, pull up this conspiracy. Tell us the brass tacks of what we know with this. He was in a lake or a pool? Yeah, it sounds like the hunter. We found crack at the White House story. We found cocaine. No, it was here. No, it was there. No, it was in a heavily trafficked area. No, it was in the bushes. It just. Yes, George Bush. Yes, that's it. Bush. Walk us through this. Where did this happen? This is
in Martha's Vineyard. This is Obama's luxury home here. And it's like it's not a lake, I guess. They refer to it as basically a giant pond. So some would call this is out of the Gateway Pundit, because the story is now changing. Because they said that Barack and Michelle Obama were not there, but now it says that they were there when their private chef mysteriously drowned. So some would call this an interesting coincidence, while others may suspect something more. Turns out the Obamas were at the Martha's Vineyard at the same time. Obama's office previously claimed that the president and the wife were not at the residence, but now they are altering the story to say that they were indeed there. So it was the 45-year-old, I'll call him a paddleboarder. It's the personal chef from the White House, and he was paddle boarding in a pond at night, and he didn't make it home. So they had the 9/11 calls. We won't get into. So it's the Edgartown Great Pond. It looks like Lake Mead, but I don't think it's not that big. So
that picture looks pretty big. That looks like a pretty massive water.
It does. But yeah, they call it Edgartown Great Pond. So, and then they said the guy couldn't swim, but now they're showing there's videos of him trying to swim, or at least learning in 2019 or so. Let's see. I'm going to pull up another one with Tafari Campbell. He took swimming lessons in 2019, according to this video. And there he is with his wife or his girlfriend. No, that's his wife, Charisse Campbell, in Aruba. But he said at that time that he was not a good swimmer. So maybe he couldn't swim. But then they show him, he was trying. And he seemed to get a lot better. But why was he paddleboarding without a life jacket? But it's a pond. So it's not, is there riptides? Is there giant waves? Is there any kind of tide? No. I wouldn't think so. But I mean, if you're out there at night, or maybe he was on drugs or drunk, there are a lot of boating accidents and things with people that are drinking and boating. Then we've got this interesting tweet from Matt Wallace. The mysterious death of Michelle Obama's private chef needs more attention. Things don't add up. He's been around for 7 years with the family. Traveled through the world, knows their deepest and darkest secrets, and rumors, let me say that, are spreading that he was murdered because they discovered a book he was writing. So I don't know where they would get that information, but certainly if that's true, that could be a reason if they saw it as betrayal from somebody close to them. So why would somebody go paddleboarding alone in the middle of a pond with no life jacket if you don't know how to swim? And I guess there was a witness who described him sinking quickly before vanishing. I don't know, maybe the Navy SEALs came and smuggled him and held him underwater. I have no idea. So why couldn't he get under his paddleboard? I'm not sure. And it was only 8 feet of water. So what are the chances the Obamas happened to be out of town the exact day? Why is the media playing cover-up? Why would he leave his wife and kids behind to go paddleboarding? Why were many law enforcement officials so quick to write this off before an autopsy? But speaking of that, I think there's an update that Obama is going to have some experts do autopsies, but he's bringing them in from D.C. So if that doesn't reek of a cover-up, I don't know what.
And you know what? In his absence, since he's going to bring in DC, what is it, coroners, who is he bringing in?
Some outside group that's going to do the investigation. But
well, if we're supposed to trust a DC group to do an investigation into anything, I guess we're going to also have to trust gas station sushi in lieu of this man preparing healthy meals. If that's what Obama expects people to trust, they got another thing coming. There is nothing less trustworthy than gas station sushi or anything out of DC.
No, that's a fair point. I mean, the base isn't going to even know about it, and they'll never question it, but it sure seems suspicious to us. And this is coming off the heels of another former presidential chef that drowned in 2015. So what do we think? And I know who said it in the comments. Could have walked in on Big Mike. Who knows? That's the other one of the other theories, rumors, is that all right, here we go. Did he walk in accidentally on Obama and Michelle and realize that it's not what they think? It's actually more questions than answers, and then realizing maybe the kids aren't actually theirs. I have no idea. But if you saw something like that, would they trust him with a secret? Or would they allow him to go out paddleboarding by himself at night and have a convenient cover-up? I don't know. But it's certainly more fun to do the conspiracy theories until I get more information.
Dreamer Ultra in the comments.
Yeah.
I can't show them for some reason. They're coming through on the YouTube channel. It says he's going to accuse, or he's gonna wager that it's Big Mike in the conservatory with the paddle. So
That's a good one.
That's his guess. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with all of this. It really is. And it's all terrible. It's all terrible. Yeah, who paddle boards at night? That's not even a thing. It's not even a thing. You might take it now. I've been out on a boat at night, and I was out up in Michigan on a retreat, and I remember laying in the back of this canoe, this little boat, this little paddle boat kind of thing, and I remember like looking up and seeing the curvature of the sky. Like the lake was so big, you could just kind of see the canopy of the heavens stretched out to the left and the right, almost like you were in a snow globe. It was really neat. But like, I wouldn't take a paddle board out at night by myself. Like I was out there with other people as well. Yeah, strange story here. Are we ever going to know? Is there anything the deep state won't do to keep their boys and girls in power here? If this person knew stuff, I don't know. I just pray we're going to be able to get to the bottom of it and catch these rat bastards for everything, whether there's any story here or not. Maybe he did just, took some pills and took a swim and, fell asleep. I don't know. I mean, maybe. I think that's incredibly unlikely. It doesn't feel like a story that I would believe, but I won't say that's guaranteed to have been foul play, but certainly we're right to suspect it with everything else that's been going on over these past few years. So, I guess let's bounce through. We got a bunch to get through. It's a busy, so many stories. I wish we had you for another couple hours, but we don't. The title of today's show, Blake, is called "Collapsed Suddenly." Both athletes, doggone it, collapsed suddenly. Both athletes and DeSantis poll numbers. So I do want to kind of preface this by getting to, where'd it go? And hold on, wait, why is it not there? It should be right there. Hold on. There we go. Why is it at the fifth? Just wanted to share this real quick. I mean, we are definitely on the verge of Ramaswamy taking over the number 2 spot in a bid to become Trump's VP. It's not even a race. But the DeSantis campaign is hemorrhaging support with this type of GOP voters. This is from just a couple of days ago, the 22nd. It says that college degree Republican voters, they were supposed to form the backbone of DeSantis' strategy to win 2024. Instead, they're fleeing his campaign in droves. Yeah, this is a sinking ship. This is a complete train wreck. And if it doesn't turn out that there was a big plan and Ronnie D was a part of it with Trump's blessing, and he's just pretending really well to get all the Republican donors to waste their money, the numbers reflect a pressing problem for the Florida Republicans at his campaign, and he's sinking, dude. Ramaswamy's up to 8-9% now, getting down to flirting with single digits. You've seen him as low as 16 or lower. The trajectories couldn't be any more stark. But yeah, that was the second half to this story. Collapsing suddenly. We've seen this. There was an ESPN analyst who collapsed. I wanted to show you this one real quick. Did you happen to see this one?
Yeah, I've got it on my stack too from
post
soccer guy. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Shaka Hislop, and I should play if I. Oh, there we go. So here he is on air. Do we have volume here? Just a couple seconds, then we'll kind of get away from it. But this is ESPN. It's a soccer match.
He's not gone on the tour of Japan. What have you seen? Shaq!
Playing out on live TV.
I need some help.
All right, that's all I'm going to play. But, he kind of wobbled, and then the other guy looked back behind me. He's like, what do you see? He had no idea. I mean, if he could have caught him in time, I mean, I guess, I don't know. No. It would be nice if people could catch him, but like he clearly didn't understand. He thought he was looking around him at something. So this guy collapses. The Cleveland Browns wide receiver Marquise Goodwin has now been placed on the physically unable to perform list with blood clots, with rare blood clots. So now his entire career could be in jeopardy. And then I woke up to getting this story that happened on Monday. I don't know how they kept it secret, reported by TMZ, and then the news broke a couple hours ago. The son of LeBron James, Bronny James, suffered a heart attack. And the question is, Blake, was it because of the vaccine? Likely, possibly, potentially? What say you here on this story?
Well, so I'm not 100% on if he took it, but if he did, I'm going to say it's very likely. It does happen. It does have. We do have athletes, especially like basketball, high cardio sports like that, or soccer, where young athletes can have heart attacks. It's not that uncommon, but we do know that they've been pushing this jab, and a lot of people are, whether they're going to get on the team, whether they get admitted to college. So people were taking this, and we do know that one of the side effects has been myocarditis, especially with young people, or the other is a few other heart conditions that have been happening. So it's easy to make that conclusion, and you would think the son of a world-class athlete like LeBron shouldn't have those sorts of issues, but he did. So now they're going to have to find out whether he was jabbed or not. And of course, they're not going to want to admit that because they've been pushing that for so long. And they forced how many hundreds of thousands of people that might not have gotten it to get it. A lot of it under duress, or a lot of these athletes trying to make a team. They say it was, if you're like a borderline player to make a football team, the people that didn't take the jab are the ones that are more likely to get cut. And the college, they might have said, hey, you guys got to have to take the jab or you can't play. So I'm going to say yes. And it's tragic. It's an awful story. And we've really done a lot of damage with these experimental jabs, if that's the case. So
And Elon Musk is now hinting that the COVID vaccine might have caused Bronny James' situation. They call it a cardiac arrest. They said it was level 3. They had to have the lights and the sirens on. He was unconscious when he was taken from the facility, or at least he lost consciousness at some point, I believe immediately after suffering the event. And of course, the NBA was very famously. By the way, I'm reading here, LeBron James is saying that he did get the COVID vaccine, despite his initial skepticism. So he personally got it after being skeptical. But yeah, the NBA in general, they were definitely pushing to get all of their players to take this thing. And so, first off, I mean, I got a very complicated relationship with LeBron James, having rooted for him and grown up outside the Cleveland area. That's where I'm from. Elon, you pulled up the quote here from Jocelyn. She says, "We cannot ascribe everything to the vaccine, but by the same token, we cannot ascribe nothing." That's the quote from Elon Musk. Yeah, that sounds like something Plato or Aristotle would say. But yes, deep within there, it's just kind of saying like, all right, there might be something here, so let's investigate. Jocelyn also saying myocarditis is a known side effect. The only question is whether it's rare or common. That's another quote from Elon Musk, allegedly. So, my complicated relationship with LeBron James, but my heart goes out to his family right now. And you hate seeing this, because it's like, is Bronny even? He was a top 20, top 25 NBA draft candidate this year. Will he not even get drafted now if he has heart issues? Will he be advised to stop playing the game or risk his life? Would
he's done.
There's
he's
so
totally
many
done. I can't imagine him doing that. He's going to be a coach or something. I don't know. How could you possibly risk that? And the school would get sued. It would be a disaster. If you're that young and you're having
if he's an 18, once again, this is kind of like, this is like if somebody wants to use their own money, not taxpayer money, and they're 18 and they've, I wouldn't necessarily advise this, but if somebody wanted to undergo a genital mutilation surgery because they feel so strongly about it, if you're 18 and you can make an adult decision like smoking a cigarette or joining the military to go to war, I think you can kind of have a say in whether you want to mutilate your own body. Likewise, if you're 18 years old and you say, I'd like to sign a waiver, I love this game, I've had a battery of tests, They don't feel as though, I saw specialists and specialists on specialists, and a couple of them assured me that I'm fine. It was a one-off. They don't expect it to be a problem, and I'm going to sign a waiver. I love this game. I love everything about it. If I drop dead on that court, that'd be, like I couldn't think of a better way to go. I hope I live to be a million, but if I don't, I want to live while I'm here. If someone is an adult and they choose to make that decision, who am I to say otherwise? But yeah, there's got to be some real tough conversations going on in the LeBron James household right now. So I do feel for that family. I feel for Bronny. I feel just it's pretty awful. But we have to examine these links with all these players. Marquise Goodwin was supposed to be a really big contributor to the Browns wide receiver room. Blood clots, physically unable to perform less. Like, his career might be over too. This is happening to a lot of people. On the ESPN person collapsing. Yeah, it might have been heat stroke. It might have been this. It might have been that. Sure. Yeah, it might have been a pterodactyl as well. Yeah, it could have been War of the Worlds. Who knows what brought it up? But anyway, that was just a jarring story coming out of USC, and I'm praying for Bronny. Hope he does okay. But this is the same league that was really forcing Kyrie to sit on the sidelines. He couldn't play in the game, but he could sit for courtside. It's just the NBA forcing people to take this experimental vaccine. It's one thing to fast track it and put it out there if somebody chooses to participate. It's another to try to ruin their career if they don't take it. So that heavy-handed tactic of losing jobs, losing clout, losing positions, losing prestige, losing credibility, that heavy-handed stuff really led to a lot of people getting date raped into doing something that they had already said no, they weren't comfortable doing, and they were pressured into it. They finally took the thing, and they felt bad afterward, or worse. So there's a lot to unpack in this story, and we'll follow it as it continues as we get some updates. So all right, cool. Let's move into the lightning round here. Blake, we should embrace Elon's rebrand of Twitter into X, the everything app. Agree or disagree?
You know what? I am going to disagree on this one. I am not entirely convinced. I don't mind the rebrand to some extent, but I'm a little bit worried about where it might be heading. So it seems to be, yes, it's going to be the everything app, which encompasses a lot, like, say, China. It's compared to what they have over in some of the Asian countries, and they don't have the same level of freedom that we're accustomed to here. So I don't know about trusting one man with too much power, but it is interesting to see. I don't like the colors already. I hate that it's a black X. It's weird looking at my tabs now. I kind of miss the old Twitter logo and the old vernacular with tweets and what have you. But I'm excited to see where this is going. So we're talking about on NBC News that Apple, Amazon, eBay, Uber, Spotify, all these places, just a sampling of the companies that Elon could be competing with. And it's more than a name change. He's trumpeting the biggest move, the microblogging into an everything app. And he's pointing to China's WeChat as something of an inspiration. So it's just going to be centered in audio, video, messaging, payments, banking, creating a global marketplace for ideas, goods, services, and opportunities. That was what Linda Yaccarino was tweeting out. And I know there's a few things. I posted this, worried about what could happen. We're going to end up like in the Matrix pod someday, hooked up to Neuralink by our Anunnaki overlords. It means Elon could be the ultimate Trojan horse, if you will. I don't know. So
my initial reaction, Blake, was an app big enough to give you everything that you need is big enough to take everything of yours away.
Right. So do you want to trust the government with
this,
or just a private guy, even though we like Elon? Is that too much power and control? And how much money is he? He's going to be like the richest dude, I don't know, in the universe, with all that money and power.
Well, I guess this rolls right into this next question then. Do you agree that everyone should hand over their biometric data for world ID money?
Absolutely not. So I know
similar topic, right? Similar.
Oh, absolutely. It's right on board because it just got launched, I think, yesterday. So let's take a look. I know I've got a few of these stories. WorldCoin is here. Just get your eyes scanned by the orb and your new world ID will be issued to you. So imagine like going to the DMV instead of getting your real ID, you're going to have the orb do your retinal scans. But this is kind of what's happening here. And some people like in Europe are actually pretty excited about this. I don't have time to run this, but there's a new project stirring intense debate on Crypto X. This is a great channel if you're into crypto, but warning about the CBDCs. You get the WorldCoin CEO saying global digital currency tied to global digital ID will soon be required, whether you like it or not. Let's take us to another. This is a well-known scammer on Twitter, Raul Pal, who says also on the WorldCoin, he's trying to sell this. You have talking about how great it is because 60% of the people here already use Apple Face ID, and 90% gave all your private data to Google and Meta. You also have a passport, global entry, use a credit card, mobile phone, are on CCTV at all times, medical records, all of it centralized. India rolled out the retina and fingerprint scans for payments, and it's incredible. You can literally buy a pint of milk with just a fingerprint, no phone, no wallet, no cash. We definitely need digital ID for humans. With the WorldCoin, one answer. Anyway, it's pretty terrifying what this could be doing. I'm going to point out a quick meme here from Bold Leonidas. It says biometric data. So you get 20 WorldCoin for this. Yeah, it's getting your get an anal probe, and maybe you'll get some money. What else do we have? I've got CoinGecko, the WorldCoin. It's already ranked 138 out of all the cryptocurrencies. So it's holding steady. Yeah, it's only been around for a day now. We'll see if that.
So the WorldCoin is the CBDC, or those are separate?
It's going to be, it's something similar. So they might all tie into that, but they are going to do a separate CBDCs, different countries, probably.
Are you going to buy some?
Absolutely not. And I'm not a trader, so I'm not going to try to make money or short it or pump it or anything like that. So I would only buy things I like to hold, and that's definitely not one of them. I'm not supporting that, and I'm not going to be
Blake,
more unless I can really trust the government, but I don't.
No. Well, things that you would like to hold. I know Rand Paul would like to hold his office. He'd like to hold it, but it was set on fire, or it caught fire. That's a better way. Have we any updates on this investigation? He started prosecuting Fauci. Do you think it was retaliation? Agree or disagree for prosecuting Fauci that his office went in flames? Do we have any updates?
I don't have an update. I still have this article from about 4 days ago. It broke over the weekend. This is out of Becker News. Rand Paul's office, catching fire one day after referring Fauci for prosecution. So this is in Bowling Green, Kentucky, out in your backyard, Brian. So I don't know. It seems a little bit too much of a coincidence that this thing could happen. And they had 31 firefighters that had to come out and put that down. I mean, it was bad. So, I mean, how would that bad of a fire break out in his office just coincidentally? So I'm not buying it. I think this is definitely intimidation. These people have nothing left to lose. And so they might as well try to intimidate their opposition. So there you have it. So I'm going to agree on that one.
And I am very curiously awaiting some updates on that. Final topic, Blake, because we got to
might be late
run.
to my next thing, but that's okay. I volunteered. Can you really be late if they call you an hour early? And you're a few minutes.
That's like Schrodinger's shift,
right?
Yeah. You're both early and late at the same time.
Exactly. All right. So I do want to point that that's also a good one. 83% of Democrats apparently are denying the border crisis. And is that because they are well informed? Well, I'm going to say they are largely in the dark. They don't know there's a border crisis. 3/4, I guess, are sympathetic to illegal immigrants. Gallup poll, this is a Gallup poll here, 83% of Democrats deny that there's any border crisis, despite that over 7 million illegal immigrants being encountered since Biden took office. And I believe it's 1.4 million who have just completely vanished. And 7 million, I guess, have been accounted for. And they get a phone or they get some money. They get to be sent to some city somewhere, some sanctuary. And then they have to show up at court someday. But I wanted to point out this whoops, I already lost it. Wikipedia entry showing just these staggering. See, if we got 7 million illegal immigrants, I'm just looking at the population of the states, and you look at 7 million. Tennessee is 15th in the country with Nashville, Chattanooga, Knoxville, Memphis, major cities, and they have 7 million people that live here.
Oh my God!
Imagine 7 million people in our country. That is staggering. That can swing elections. You scatter all those people if they're eligible to vote and they get car insurance, stuff like that, or they're getting benefits. I mean, we just can't afford to take on that many people. Or you talk about 1.5 or 1.4 million gotaways. That's the population of Hawaii, of people that are just scattered around. We don't even know who they are or where they are.
No, I know that there's military-aged Chinese men crossing the border by the tens of thousands. Those reports are coming in. I mean, you couldn't do things differently if you were involved in a treasonous plot to sabotage this country. There's not much you could do differently if you were doing that above board. It would look exactly the same.
Yeah. So this is their big plot, and their people don't even know about it because they're not reporting it. Imagine what the Democrats might actually come back to sanity if they actually knew what was happening. But the media will not cover it. They pretend like that's not an issue.
But we're the media now.
And they pretend like they're insulating Biden. Like most people wouldn't know that, he's taking $10 million in bribes, and it's documented.
No, he's taken
it's
more
probably
than
over 30 million. But that's just 10 million just from the Burisma and the Ukrainians.
Way more than 30.
Yeah, that's just
the
Ukrainian stuff. Yeah, 30 million with all the Chinese stuff. Yeah.
More.
With all the other business dealings they've been in, yeah, for sure. It's going to expand. But
all right. Well, what's on the radar for this week? Anything else that we're waiting on? I mean, we had those hearings last
Trump,
week, and
potential indictment, and then we'll see if they maybe impeach Biden. So this could be two very exciting things on the horizon, and that could happen too. Oh, they might also subpoena Mark Zuckerberg, bring him in for questions.
Oh, they damn well better.
Yeah.
There's nobody I like less than that Zuckerberg. He violated all of our civil rights. There needs to be class action lawsuits. He needs to go to jail. The stuff that they did, it's a violation of civil rights. It was intentional. And there needs to be penalties for that. If there's not, then we have no system. We have no protections. We have no country. So, yeah, okay, I'm here for it. I sure hope we get to see that, Blake.
Definitely.
All right. Anything else on your agenda for today, sir?
Nope. I am running late, but it was for a good cause, and I'm glad everybody could be here.
Yes.
Sorry we didn't have more time. Hopefully we'll have more time on Thursday, and I look forward to doing the next show. It's always exciting. This is an epic news cycle. What a time to be alive. So thank you for being here with us.
What a time to be alive.
Yes. TV's Blake Walley.
And by the way,
that's it. Or thenextlevelnews.com.
Yes.
You'll find the show, the archive, everything. Thank you very much. Great job, Brian. You can continue if you want, but I got to run. Take care, everybody.
At TV's Blake Walley. There he goes. Thank you, Blake. Appreciate you. And I did find an update here on my browser window. My show has been really slow the past 2 shows I've done. Staggered. I'm trying to improve this. Not sure what's going on, but I do see an update button in the browser. So maybe something with Google Chrome, this lack of an update is causing some of these glitches. I'm trying to get this green screen working. I don't know. It's a work in progress. I got lights all around me to the point where I'm actually getting a little warm. I got one it's larger than the size of my head. Can you see this? Look, I don't know if you can see this. Here, I'll put it behind me. Look at this. Is this the biggest? Oh, I feel like I'm in one of those paintings or like a stained glass window. Do you see it with like the halo? Anyway, I'm going to move this light. It's not making any sense if you're listening on Spotify, is it? But let's see. Dreamer Ultra is saying Rand Paul simply has bad luck. The mowing attack incident. Oh, yeah. He was attacked by a neighbor. What, did he break his ribs or something? He was attacked on Pennsylvania Avenue, walking to his hotel, and now this fire. Let's talk about the time someone put their feet up on Nancy's desk. Oh, that was something. Exactly. Oh, and Jocelyn is saying New York just passed a bill that says illegals can vote. There's no universe where that, if you're not a shareholder, you can't vote if you're not a shareholder, you can't vote. That's not a thing. This needs to get struck down. Whatever these blue states keep trying to do, there needs to be people to stop it. New York just passed a bill saying illegals can vote. You're not a shareholder. You're not a part of the conversation. Stay in your lane. And the people pushing for this stuff really need to be held to account. Oh, there I am. Now I'm watching. I got the halo behind my head. This thing's ginormous, but it's still not giving me the green screen look that I need. So I got to make this sharper and crisper. I'm working on it, folks. So yeah, I want to say thanks to everybody following. It's super important. Like I said, Dreamer Ultra, I noticed, is following us both the Unhappy Hour _ that's the sports show, and and at American _media _ on Twitter. So do the same. Follow us on Twitter, please. Connect with us. Share stories that you want us to cover. Tag us. We need more engagement. We need more numbers, need more retweets. Look, we're building something here. It's fun talking to all of you when we get together to do these shows. So let's kind of ramp it all up. Let's connect a little bit. YouTube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Spotify, The Agree to Disagree Show. Subscribe. Rumble. Go to Rumble, The New American Media. You can do things. You can play our Spotify podcast in the background. It helps us with the plays. Go to Rumble, play the show from front to back. It helps the analytics, the hours, the numbers, the minutes and hours watched. Those counts are important. If we can 4x, we can probably get our monetization back on the channel. We haven't been monetized in a couple of years. But yeah, we've only recently been ramping up production with our content again, but it's so important to follow us in all the places. Go on Telegram, TNAM chat, TNAM official. We're over there. Telegram's a good one. Signal is another. TNAM official, TNAM chat, I believe. Instagram, The New American Media. They won't let us share stuff. They won't let us share stories anymore. I don't know if that's a temporary there's no communication with these channels. They just take away your ability to share stuff on Instagram. And then you have no guideline. You have no basis for how to unpack it, how to unscramble the eggs, as it were. There's no path forward because they don't explain how you got off on that path anyway. You're walking through the woods and something grabs you and pulls you into the underbrush. It's like, well, how'd I get here? There's no explanation of how you got there. So, it's frustrating trying to work with Instagram. It's frustrating trying to work with Facebook and Meta. But like I said, parentheses, the TNAMs, TNAM', the Agree to Disagree Show, that parentheses, that is our private group on Facebook, and it's active. It's active every single day. If you can get into that group, you'll like it. But, it's just a matter of time before that gets shut down. So you got to follow us in the other spots. Like Blake said, it's all very temporary and risky, that the content we're creating, it might not be available on YouTube tomorrow. It might not be on Facebook tomorrow. So find us in the other spots: Rumble, Spotify, Telegram, Truth Social. We're on Truth Social as well. Yeah, we need more people on Truth Social. We do a little bit there. We post our content, but we need a lot more followers over there. Truth Social, the New American Media. So anyway, are there any topics? Put it in the comments right now, or forever hold your peace. Any other topics that you needed us to cover today that we didn't have a chance to get to? Type now or forever hold your peace. I mean, it's been a strange time to be covering the news. There's no doubt about it. It seems like every day is a little wackier than the last. Now, maybe that's it's a perception thing. Maybe that's not the reality of it, but it really does seem like every day gets stranger. Kind of saying he stays humble. Yeah, stay humble. Let's see. Jocelyn saying, what about those? Okay, what's this? No, I don't know this story. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Jocelyn is adding, what about those 3 Marines who were found dead in a car near the base? Well, how were they found dead? I don't know this story. Okay. I don't know. It's on our radar. Thank you for telling us. 3 Marine. Was it fentanyl? Was it an overdose? Was it an execution? Was it a gang thing? Carbon monoxide? Was it, I mean, like what got them? I don't know. That's a good story. Anytime 3 Marines are unalived, you gotta take note. Okay, so it's a mystery, Jocelyn is saying. All right. What about this one? An Obama appointed federal judge on Tuesday blocked Joe Biden's rule limiting asylum seekers in response to a lawsuit filed by the ACLU. So let me unpack this. Obama's judge blocked Biden's rule that limited asylum seekers in response to a lawsuit filed. So what, layman's terms, what does that mean then? Because it's almost like it's a triple negative. They blocked a rule that limited in response to a lawsuit by the ACLU, which wanted to overtake, overthrow, what word am I trying to say there? Federal judge Tuesday blocking the rule that limits asylum seekers in response to a lawsuit filed by the ACLU. Yeah, ACLU, interesting organization. You think of them as standing up for the rights, standing up for the good people out there. ACLU, they're your friend. And sometimes they do some good work. And then sometimes, I mean, a lot of what we're attributing this homeless crisis to right now. You look back in the 80s, it's like, oh, well, Reagan did this. He closed up all the loony bin houses. It's like, by the way, we don't call them loony bin houses anymore. Yeah, you can. Crazy's crazy. 5150. But it wasn't just Reagan closing down mental health facilities. It was the ACLU. It was lawsuits saying that you're not allowed to take somebody off the street. They have a right to be there. And it's like, try walking around in Los Angeles or San Francisco. A lot of these big cities are getting too dangerous. I had people commenting on that in Cleveland. They're talking about maybe doing a new football stadium. And would they put it here? Would they put it there? And a lot of comments like, man, they'd love to get it out of Cleveland. That place has become so dangerous. And it's like as dangerous as Philly and Chicago. And yeah, it's like, oh my God, who's the mayor? Impeach. Like, well, he's a young Democrat and they'll never impeach. I'm like, that's exactly who you need to impeach. Anybody who doesn't pay attention to keeping your city safe. I mean, that has to be rule number 1, job number 1 is just keep your residents safe, or else what are you even there for? You'd be better off not having a government than having an inept one. Okay, well, those are 2 stories I got to look into more, Jocelyn. I'll admit, 3 Marines found dead in a car near their base, which is a mystery, and the ACLU lawsuit that blocked Biden's rule. So if they blocked Biden letting everyone in, that's limiting asylum seekers? Okay, I think that's how I'm reading that right. So yeah, I'll have to look into that. But yeah, please, if you have other news tips and news stories, send it to us. Put cool stories out there and tag at American_media_, and it'll show up in our timeline. We'll glance at it. We'll look at it. We'll try to click on it, read it. And if it makes it into our we'll retweet it when it makes sense, and we'll work it into the show when it makes sense. We can't cover everything, but you help us do that. You are the newsroom. Jocelyn saying, so suddenly it's against the law to defend our borders? When the losing side is really in agreement with the activist judiciary, the fix is in. Amicus status by Americans needs to take place. We have got to assert our national sovereignty immediately. I don't understand how anybody could not be up in arms over what's happening here during the 3rd Barack Obama administration. That's what this is. Biden doesn't know what day it is. He doesn't know what color Depends he put on. He doesn't know what's going on. This is Obama's team. And it's gotten pretty aggressively bad, pretty absurdly, obviously. It's like he's now doing things like he famously said, if I often wonder if I could run for president on a third term and, from the basement and maybe have an earpiece in the ear of the actual president, I do think that could be good. That would be a lot of fun. That's really what it seems like. That's really what it seems like is going on here. And yeah, we had 8 miserable years of just head scratching anti-American stuff coming from Barack Hussein Obama. And now we've had it for 3 years under Biden, 2.5 years under Biden. National sovereignty is greatly at risk, completely in peril. If I could do a chef, what? Kenneth, what are you saying about being a chef? But yeah. Well, defending your borders, it's very similar to that Jason Aldean song. Try that in a small town. Okay. Well, the federal government is doing their stuff to 7 million people. They've just flooded the country full of people illegally. Oh, yeah. No. But remember, they have to press on your junk when you're when you're going on an airplane, right? Because of 9/11. You got to be careful, right? We got to sacrifice our freedoms and liberties because, some people did some things, as Ilhan Omar says. No. Oh, and by the way, everybody has to get jabbed, and you got to wear these worthless cloth masks that don't stop the spread of something like a virus, which is way too small, that gets right through cloth, and it's aerosolized, and it never made sense in the first place. But yeah, you got to do all these things because reasons. But yeah, we can have 7 million people fled through the southern border without any accountability. That just doesn't make any sense. When they go low, we go high. Oh yeah, Jamie Foxx. That's another one. Jamie Foxx had he came out and gave a statement. He's looking a little different, He said he's not a clone. He's also in a movie about a clone right now. Damar Hamlin came out after his heart situation and said he's not a clone, but then he teased being a clone. On the surface, I'm very happy to see Jamie Foxx back. He's one of the most talented people America has. If you look at the roster of comedic talent, musical talent, just general acting talent, he's an incredible specimen. I hated hearing what happened to him, but I'm really glad to see him back. But let's keep our eyes peeled. Let's keep our eyes peeled on that situation. Send in the clones. Yeah. Send in the clowns. Send in the clones. Yeah, get ready for that. DARPA and Boston Dynamics, they're going to clone their robot dogs with missiles on their tails. Gotta love it. Woke up in a dystopian nightmare in 2023, but it's okay. We're not going to allow ourselves to get black-pilled. We're going to talk about the news. We're going to mock how silly some of the stuff is. We're going to discuss solutions. And we're going to try to dig into the stories that don't ever call them mainstream media. You got to use the correct words. They're lying legacy media. I've always at the New American Media wanted to discuss stories that are underreported by the lying legacy media. And I think that's really where the role of independent journalism comes in. We don't have the same advertisers and producers and show segment coordinators that are telling us what we may and what we may not do. Now, yes, we are completely aware that places like Facebook Meta, Google, YouTube, they can demonetize, they completely delete my channel. Facebook deleted the New American Media page. No reason. But when we started investigating child abuse, they did not like that we created a group to investigate. They hated it. And then he comes to find out what Zuckerberg's other program, Instagram, was doing, protecting all the pedos, all of the monsters that attack innocent little babies and humans and kiddos. They hate that. Yeah, that's Zucks. That Zuck's big time, Kenneth B. That Zuck's a big one. But yeah, lying legacy media. We cover the stories that they don't pay as much attention to, or they're going to lie to you about, or they're just going to ignore in general. That's what we're here for. So tag us on Twitter. That might be one of the best ways. Make sure you get Blake at TV's Blake Walley, Walley, and get us at American_media_. That's all I have for today. I appreciate all of you for watching. Please lock in and find us in all of the places. And until next time, we appreciate you. We love you. And we'll talk to you again soon.